All right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday and our Verite tasting. Not a sellout. I was really surprised to see we couldn't sell out a California Cabernet tasting, especially one where the wines have gotten so much press, like this Verite, 100 points for 7 wines in one review. That's unheard of. And these wines are killer. I mean, among some of the best wines produced, not only in California, but everywhere in the world. I remember the first vintage, the 1998, when they brought it to me. And even though they didn't bring Chateau Petrus along with it, like they did in some markets, and showed off their top-level Merlot when next to the world's benchmark for Merlot, you know, Jess Jackson, when he hired Pierre Seillan, he brought him to, you know, his various vineyard sites throughout California, and he said, man, you know, I want to make an iconic Merlot blend that can compete with the best made in the world, and that means Chateau Petrus. So, you know, Pierre said, you have some great vineyards here, Mr. Jackson, and, you know, I'm going to, you know, do my best for you, and it's just incredible what they have done. And, you know, it started out as one wine, and this wine, well, the quickly became 3 different wines, you know, because Pierre said, you know, you've got some incredible Cabernet here. You've got some incredible Cabernet Franc, and I can't think of another winery anywhere in the world that makes a top-level Cabernet Sauvignon blend, a top-level Merlot blend, and a top-level Cabernet Franc blend. I'm trying to think if there's... I just can't think of anyone. You know, Schaefer makes a great Cabernet Sauvignon, a fabulous Merlot. Gosh, you know, there's not a Cabernet Franc, though, in the lineup. I mean, this is a grape varietal. It's very hard to make a Cabernet Franc-dominated wine on a regular basis at a very high level. Hey, Cheval Blanc, but at Cheval Blanc, they don't make a Cabernet blend, and they don't make a Merlot-dominant blend. They just make one wine. So this, to me, is one of the top wineries in the world for that reason, if you like Bordeaux varietals. Anyways, we started out with the new release, the 2009 vintage, which is an outstanding vintage in California. And by the way, this is the only wine from Sonoma that you get prices like this for. And, you know, the vineyards of people in Sonoma for a long time have played second fiddle to Napa, but now Sonoma is going to get its due with these Verite wines, because these are killer wines. I will put them up against any wines made anywhere in the world, like I said, Napa Valley included. The 2009 Le Joie, which the Le Joie is the Cabernet-dominated blend. And this is from the estate vineyards up on Chalk Hill Road there. They call it the Mountain Estate. And then the Bennett Valley is where they get most of the Merlot from, which this one's 9% Merlot. And then Knights Valley, they get some of the Cabernet Franc from. And these 3 different vineyard areas are top level. And, well, Knights Valley, you get Peter Michaels, their next door neighbor there. Bennett Valley was the area where the Matanzas Creek got their Merlot that they made the Journey, the first benchmark Merlot from, and then a lot of great wines up there on Chalk Hill Road. Anyways, the 2009 Le Joie, a little monster. This wine's got a lot of dark currant and cassis-like fruit, very rich and complex, toasty oak spice, forest floor, and wow, just explosive fruit here on the palate. Cassis, really thick and chewy, but still quite balanced. You notice the French influence, even though this wine's got a natural alcohol level of 14.5, still has a long, layered finish and still quite fresh. Most excellent juice. The Lamousse, also great. I mean, I like the Le Joie just a little better in the 2009s. And, you know, this wine has just a little richer fruit to it, not quite as big, not quite as structured as the Le Joie. A little tobacco spice and Asian spice, fig in here, really complex bouquet, really dense and rich on the tongue. Again, just not quite as dry. The tannins there are very smooth and polished, and layers of a fruit, spice, and earth through the finish. Most excellent juice. The Le Désir, which is the Cabernet Franc blend. Wow, this wine had incredible nose. Definitely the best nose of all the wine on the tables this evening. This lovely floral, perfumed, kind of violet note, graphite, blackberries, crushed rock, multiple layers of spice and floral notes. Thick and chewy on the palate. Cabernet Franc known for its dark, deep tannic structure. And, you know, this wine just needs a little bit of time, but has all the pieces in the right proportion in place. Killer juice. My favorite wine of the night. And in terms of wines of the night, the 2008 Le Joie, which was, you know, the 99-point wine, got some votes. And, you know, the 2009 Lamousse, I think, got the other votes. The 2 highest rated wines, but still all the wines on the table were excellent. The Le Joie 2008, the highest rated wine on the table. I thought, you know, this wine was a little softer than the 09s, and I like the 08 vintage, but I like 09 much better. I have to say the 9s have got to me, more stuffing, a little richer. And this 08 just a little more smooth, a little more seductive on the nose. Really opened up nicely. Cigar box spice, fresh herbs, rich chocolate, kind of earthy notes here. This all that and a box of chocolate, we like to say, this 2008 La Joie. The 2002s, it's nice to get some older wines. They sent these out from the winery for us. And the 2002s all showing a little bit of development here, as you would expect it, over 10 years old. But some damp forest floor notes in the Lamousse. This is the Merlot blend. Dark currant, cassis berry fruit, bitter chocolate, cigar box spice, and starting to mellow out a little bit, these tannins in the wine, but still, you know, these wines are still young. They've got a lot of stuffing here, a lot of layers, some dry tannins on the finish, and this year had a little more floral note, as it did in the 2009s. The La Joie had a little more stuffing, a little bigger, a little more structured, and but all three of the 2002s most excellent. If I had to pick a favorite there, it would probably be the Le Désir again. The two lowest rated wines on the table. How do you like them the best? You can't drink points, folks, but you are going to pay for them. And like I said, all these wines, most excellent to killer on my scorecard. The 1998, the first vintage, even though it says Napa and Sonoma on the label, it's just Sonoma. The idea was to blend the best of Napa and Sonoma together. And I guess at the last minute they said, you know, we got so much great fruit here from Sonoma. Let's make the first iconic wine from Sonoma Valley. This wine really shows nicely right now. Really soft and drinkable. Layers of red currant berry fruit. And lovely freshness. Really smooth and round tannins. This wine drinking at or near its peak. And like I said, I was on the board. I was on I was on the bandwagon from day one with these wines. The 98, one of my favorite wines from the 98 vintage, and still showing brilliantly this 98 Verite. All right, that's what we had to drink at our Verite tasting here at Wine Watch. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.